You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean. Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Low Winter Sun After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Low Winter Sun After Show.
Hey everybody, Bing is for doing, and we are here doing a Low Winter Sun after show. This is the very first episode, season 1, episode 1 for starters. I'm Matt Lieberman, and joining me on the panel is Oriana Leo.
Hi there.
And Stef Z.
Hey, how's it going?
All right, guys, we got a lot to talk about. Very exciting first episode. A lot happened. We had some deaths already. We had some dismemberments. We had some betrayals. A lot of questions. So we're just going to jump right in to the murder of Brendan McCann.
Yeah.
By Frank and Joe. So we start out on Frank's face. Just a single tear rolls down. Joe has told him that Brendan beat and killed and butchered his woman, Katya.
Yeah.
And he was so pissed that he killed him.
Yeah.
This dirty cop by staging this suicide.
After he is being given plenty of alcohol and asked if he is drunk enough.
Yeah.
And we actually see that he was there with Brendan when he killed him.
Yes.
So he's, how long did it take to tell him is, I was a little bit interested in, like, it seems like some time has passed, but we don't.
Since Brendan killed Katya.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we're already kind of exposed to sort of a difference between these two cops. Like they're doing this very dirty thing, but Joe is far more comfortable with it than Frank is. Frank is sacrificing, I think, a lot of his morality right here at the top.
Yeah.
Versus...
And it's almost like Joe wants to pull him in so he's not the only dirty one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Frank's a little bit weaker in the sense where he's probably done a bunch of dirty things, but he wouldn't go to this extent.
He physically is wearing it.
Yeah.
You can see that what he's done is wearing on him, and he's like, it's eating him away. He's getting sick.
Yeah.
While Joe doesn't seem to have much of a problem, and he was in a seminary.
Yeah.
So he's the one that you would think would have a little moral.
Well, but then...
but maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe pushed him over the edge.
Maybe. I mean, he has that great monologue where he's talking about morality. Some people see it as, light and dark, black and white, and people say it's shades of gray. It's none of that. It's a strobe. It's just light and dark flashing back and forth all the time, and there's no control over any of it.
Well, I feel like hopefully we'll get exposed to what in his past has led to him to be that dirty cop and to feel that way, because it definitely feels like he's got an edge on his shoulder about something.
Totally. And it's so clear, like you guys were saying, in the physicality of how Mark Strong is playing Frank, just the stooped shoulders and just the pallid look on his face. He's so far gone versus like that little brief moment we get to see between him and Katya in that flashback. Like it's not like he's out and out happy, but there's a lightness that just is not present here.
He looks tired and drained and
totally.
I noticed also when they were taking McCann out of the restaurant, and he was talking about Katya, the hot piece of ass, and so eloquently said. And there was a comment that Frank Mandy said, "That's why I crack. That's why I crack."
Right.
And I thought, what is that about?
Right.
What are we going to find out through this series about why he has cracked?
I think we're going to find out a whole heck of a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just sort of like the interesting little bit. So Joe has enlisted Frank, or is kind of partnered with him on this, saying that Frank is the best of the best at what he does, and what he does is solve murders and solve suicide. He knows exactly how to make this look like a determined suicide.
Right.
And there's that little beat with the lobster tank. where he tells him, oh no, we can't dunk him in there, salt water, it'll show up. And it's just it's really cool to see the level of detail. This guy is great at what he does. He's very, very smart. But he just gets smacked in the face with something he never saw coming, which was that IA was onto Brendan and potentially Joe.
Right.
And that maybe Joe was even better than Frank because he is
because he's the one who's alive.
He's the mastermind of this whole thing.
I thought it was interesting too, the way that they walked into the restaurant to get Brandon was so confident, like, oh, we got this, we're gonna take him home, and then so quickly it just switches to like, yeah, you're dead, dude. You know what I mean? Like, it was very interesting to me. Like, yeah, I always got your back. No.
Yeah. Joe was like so calm when Frank's drowning him. He's like, just a little longer, and he'll go.
Right. And he also said to Frank, don't, because Frank was punching him, and he's like, don't leave any marks. And we clearly see at the end that there are some markings. So I don't know if that's gonna come out to like bite him in the ass. Yeah.
Well, this is the sort of show where like nothing is going to be left, hanging. Everything will catch up with our two main characters.
Yeah, everything's got a purpose.
It's like a contest of who's the bigger sociopath.
Yeah. Well, right now Joe's
winning.
Yeah. Who's better at it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll continue to see. I loved the swap. Like they mentioned it at the top, and it's sort of interesting the style of this show. They're allowing it to be vague. They're allowing us to have questions, and some of them get answered, some of them don't. And I'm okay with that. I like that we have to keep up with it.
Yeah. I'm okay with that too, because it drags you in. It's like, well, it could be this, or it could be this. You know what I mean? And the whole way, it's even shot a little darker. You know what I mean? Like, it keeps you intrigued. Like, what am I gonna miss? What am I looking for? So I like that a lot too.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say I didn't even want to look down while I was taking my notes because I was afraid I was gonna miss something. Yeah. And something that I saw that I felt like it was bringing in the character of Detroit, the city itself.
Yes.
Was the house across the street from Frank's house is like an abandoned crack den or something. I don't know if you noticed that, but it's all boarded up and it's covered, it's tagged. Yeah. And then the dog runs by with like a dead rat or possum by the gangster guys, and it kind of just showed me like this is a dog eat dog kind of city.
Oh yeah.
This is a nasty place to be.
It looks like no other show that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I love that.
I love that too.
Yeah. It's super, super cool. And then just like sort of the whole process of it, IA comes in and they're investigating, they're watching the security footage, and the way that they swapped out the bodies was like really genius.
Yeah.
Really, really ingenious. They thought of everything except for the markings on his neck and then potentially the cracked wrist. He broke his bone when he fastened him to the steering wheel. So we're probably going to see all that come back.
Which makes it kind of scary. Like, it's awesome and brilliant that they thought of everything, but, like, it makes you kind of a little bit scared of what a crooked cop could do.
Well, and also the emotional sensitivity of Frank and how, like, it really is on the edge like that he can potentially screw everything up.
Yeah. Totally.
It's makes me nervous, and it makes me want to tune in.
Well, it's as Maya was saying in the bar. She's like, you know what I always say about cops. Can't trust them.
Right.
You can't trust cops. And
such a good line.
It absolutely. And really the only one of these cops so far who seems to be 100% on the level is Khalil, the female cop. She was worried about Frank's love life earlier in the episode, and then she pays attention to after the car gets brought out of the river and they find out that there's a body in the trunk. Frank says, I don't know if I can look at this, because he's positive it's going to be Katya, and then it's some man.
Right.
And now suddenly Frank is in charge of this investigation, and she's like, you said that you don't know if you can look at this. How did you know it was going to be in it? How'd you know it was going to be in the trunk?
And she picked up them fighting in the car. Mm-hmm. So she's definitely got a clue that there's something deeper going on that they only know.
So her name is Danny, her first name, I believe, Danny Khalil.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote in my notes, is Danny onto Joe? Because she is, but she was already sensitive to him in the beginning. She was worried about his love life.
Yeah.
And that he was rushing into something too soon.
She was worried about Frank's love life.
Yes.
And I was wondering, I don't know if you guys caught, I felt like she might be a little bit into Frank.
That's what I was saying. Why?
And then I think that's also why she notices him and everything around him is that she's a little overly concerned about him and about things that maybe she doesn't need to be.
Yeah, there's some other tie to him
Something.
that we don't know yet.
Yeah. I think she's going to get drawn further into his orbit and is eventually going to learn something that's going to get her killed.
Oh, wait, that's predictions. Don't go there.
Oh, no.
But you know what?
I won't do it ahead of time.
Even because we're there and we'll go back there, but I feel like she's the type of person that if she found something out, she'd try and help him rather than telling him.
Yeah.
She seems to have that presence with him.
She thinks of him as a good man.
Right.
Yeah. So, if he did this, there must be a good reason.
And as we're seeing, the perceptions are everything, because that is why people, motivating Frank to do what he's doing was the perception of Brendan McCann, and then finding out, the perception of Joe.
Of Joe, yeah.
Right.
Was not exactly what he thought. And we rewatched that opening scene, and it's very much Joe pushing Frank into doing this.
Yeah.
Frank is not quite ready to say yes. I think if given another 15 minutes, he would have bowed out.
But he even says, "Tell me again."
Yeah.
Tell me what he did again, because he needs to, I think, visualize it and really get the anger and feel angry.
Because he's not a killer.
He's not a killer. And when he was talking about the lines, I'm very curious to know which lines, he's like, you don't cross those lines. And was it like,
Which
you don't
line
cross
is
the
that?
lines to kill my girl if you have a problem with me, or you don't cross the lines to kill somebody who you think killed with two wrongs making it right?
I think it's just you don't cross the line, you don't kill someone, period.
That's, yeah.
That's why we chase these scumbags down and all of that.
Right.
But looking at sort of Frank as this sort of lovelorn husk of a man, he is though.
That is an
Lovelorn
amazing.
husk. That might be the quote of the day.
I'm writing that down.
He is though. He's a lovelorn husk of a man who looks kind of like Gru from Despicable Me, and he's solving crimes, and he's had a lot of tragedy in his life. Apparently, 3 years ago, something very bad happened in his love life. We don't know.
There was a picture of him and a man and woman married.
Okay.
In his apartment. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
No,
he was
I
getting
did not.
he was getting dressed, and it panned past a picture of husband and
Yeah.
wife.
Okay.
So I'm putting a couple things together that maybe
His wife may have been
it's
murdered.
been 3 years.
Yeah, his wife was murdered, and then he met this girl who apparently was into some stuff.
Yeah.
May have been a
I kind of
prostitute.
thought she was like a Russian order bride. Was kind of what I was thinking.
I thought she was maybe a prostitute.
Same thing.
Yeah, well,
Kinda.
not quite.
Sort of.
Same difference.
Same difference.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we could get into the finer details of mail order brides and prostitutes, but we won't.
Both dirty.
Yeah, that is not this show yet.
Right. Yet. Yeah.
Yes.
It could be.
Yes, it very well could be.
No.
But it isn't yet. So Joe, I'm wondering how far in advance was Joe planning this? Because the show says that Brendan killed Katya, but Katya's not the one who's in the trunk. There's a man in the trunk.
And we realize that Katya's saying "Frank, please" as her last
Frank,
words.
please, Frank, no.
Right.
Why is she saying Frank to Brendan?
Exactly.
I mean, is she calling out for her beloved, or is there some more information? Because
I don't think you would say Frank no if you're calling out for your beloved.
I agree, but it just seems so odd. So I'm definitely looking to see what we're gonna find out about.
There's no way that this is like a Memento kind of situation where he killed her and then blacked it out, right?
No.
Okay.
Because Joe would use that.
No.
Joe would use that to get.
I mean, I don't think so.
I don't know. This is only the first episode. As we said, First Starters is the name of this episode.
It can't be. Well, but we do see him flush the heart down the toilet.
Yeah.
So that's got to have a deeper meaning too. He's like this, throwing up
Disgusted,
and then flushing some token. Like if someone that you love got murdered, why would you flush
Throw
that?
it
Because he
away.
can't even look at it. It's making him sick, and it did.
It made him sick.
Yeah, but why?
Why is the question?
What's more? There's more of a story there.
Okay, Steph Z wants the truth.
Yeah,
She wants the
I want
straight dope, the pure juice.
Yeah.
And you're going to get it
Yep.
12 weeks from now.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get little bits and pieces of the juice along the way.
Yeah. Anyone else have any big things you want to talk about just from the actual murder and the discovery of the body before we move on?
No, the only other thing was in the discovering of the surveillance tape and everything, and then when Frank is watching the video, and then the hard drive thing comes up,
Right?
Because he that's I feel like what triggered him to be like, okay, he's for sure there's something deeper here going on with internal affairs as well,
Mm-hmm.
because he knows that Brandon was not computer savvy at all.
Yeah, he barely knew how to turn it on.
Right.
So Joe definitely screwed with the computer.
Right.
How deep was Joe into what Brendan was doing? Because we know that Brendan was working
Or
with...
what did they do together?
Right.
That's true. Well, Brendan, it seems, was working with some kind of Eastern European mob.
Right.
Like, that's what we learned from kind of like the crime side of things this week.
Right.
Is there's someone who's just been referred to as the old man who runs things downtown. And Brendan was getting ready to take him down.
Yeah.
In dirty fashion, but still do it.
Mm-hmm.
So... is Joe trying to get his spot in that gang? Is he trying to get all the glory for himself? Or did he not even know the depth of what was going on?
I don't know. I feel like Joe maybe, like, unawarely got involved and got in too deep. That's what it makes
Interesting.
me feel like. It makes me feel like somehow he knew that he would be seen as dirty in this journal, like in the investigation.
Yeah.
But he didn't blatantly do something, but he knew that it was bad for him.
I disagree. I see Joe as being just endlessly dirty.
Yeah.
Like he is so good at convincing, and he's a
Yeah.
sociopath. He's going in and saying, I'm going to go down for this, and I don't want to go down for Brendan. And he's trying to talk to his chief, but we've seen already what he's capable of doing, and now,
Yeah.
and he's so
And
manipulative
it's so
and so
easily
effective.
it's so easy for him to lie. And I know that isn't the greatest comparison, but it's kind of like, as you were saying earlier, he's trying to pull Frank in because when you have a vice, you don't want to be the only one who's doing it.
yeah, it's like misery loves company.
Exactly. When
the words out of my mouth.
when you're a
Yeah.
smoker and then you have a friend who's quitting and they're like hemming and hawing, eventually you'll offer them one.
Right.
Or like you'll
you're a bad
you'll give it to
person.
them if
Yeah.
they ask enough times, even though you know that they shouldn't have one.
Right.
Because ultimately you want the company and you want someone else who relates to what's going on with you.
So wait, so you think that Joe's dirtier than Brandon?
I don't know if he's dirtier, but in the beginning of the show, I was thinking, okay, he really didn't know anything about it, but he just hated him and despised him, and he saw what he was doing during the 4 years they were partners. But then when I realized, and so does Frank, that he cleared the hard drive, obviously he was implicated. And who knows how implicated he was. Obviously, Brendan was an idiot, right? He was a
Yeah.
drunk. He had a overly large house that was indicative that he was
Yeah.
taking home too much money.
Right.
As they said, the McMansion house that was
No
not
way on a cop's
salary.
Yeah.
So if Joe is not behaving in that manner, maybe he's kind of the mastermind. Maybe he set this up. I don't know. He seems like a very smart, very manipulative, dangerous person.
Yeah, and he knows how to survive.
Do you
He's
think
a-
he helped get Katya killed?
I think, well, he knew something was going to happen. He was there. He was there in the room.
I know, that's what I'm
with
saying.
Brendan.
So maybe there was some reasoning, and maybe when he got into the room, he got a little bit of cold feet, like we can't do this, because it looked like he was trying to stop him in a sense.
Yeah, but
maybe
I'm
before
pretty
that-
sure his gun was also out. I might be misremembering that, but
It's a really quick scene.
It's a
Yeah.
really quick scene, but it looks to me like he goes towards Brandon, and Brandon kind of like
Yeah.
pushes him away.
well, here's the thing though. It's a quick scene, but it's also, we can't trust the perspective of that scene because
Totally.
it's his memory.
Right.
Right.
He's telling a story.
Right.
We
Right.
can't trust that narrator.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that shakes out.
Yeah, and I just want to bring up one more thing just involving the seminary. I feel like it's kind of like an old school cop trope where like the more shit you see,
Yeah.
the harder it is for you to believe in God or justice
Or goodness.
Right, because too many times the criminal gets away, the innocent dies, and I feel like morality became more and more relative to him the longer he was in this job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely a big tie there that I'm sure we're going to hear about
Yeah.
more about that. Because they just literally like one-lined it and then it was done.
Yeah.
It was like, let's just throw that in to see who
Just toss
picks
it
up.
right in the
Yeah.
Joe stew.
Yeah, and then we're going to just let it simmer for a while and then we'll take it out and tell you what it's all about.
Yeah. All right. Real quick before I move on, I just want to talk about iTunes. Please check us out on iTunes. Tell your friends about the show. It's a brand new show, and we would love to have as many people listen or watch as possible. And subscribe and rate us and leave us your comments on iTunes or on YouTube. We love to read our feedback, and we love to read tweets from fans and really join in the conversation. We do this show because we love Low Winter Sun, and I'm sure that you do too. So let's take care of each other, and we'll continue to have this great conversation all season long.
Woohoo!
Yes. Whoop indeed.
Word.
Okay, so after we can call it, like, you know, it's not Weekend at Bernie's, but it's like two guys and a dead body kind of a thing. After that, we come in on the police station in the morning, and Simon Boyd from IA marches right in. David Costabile, without warning, has started this investigation. And, like, this character that he's playing, I've never seen him, like, I've seen him do comedy and do drama, and he was on Breaking Bad and Flight of the Conchords and all kinds of stuff. But he's so kind of like this dry, brittle confidence. He's like super nerdy, and you'd think he'd be like more shy, but he's just so very direct. It's like a different kind of sociopath.
Yeah, it's like a little pompous.
I found him to be very smarmy.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, ooh, you're making my skin crawl.
I know, but he's not like overplaying it. He's not like trying to like get under your skin.
Yeah, no.
He just does that naturally.
Yeah.
That's just who he is.
It's understated smarminess.
Yeah.
Which works for
Understated
him.
smarm. Yeah. Smarmalade. Yeah. He's just dripping. He's spreading it all over everybody.
And that's why I think that reflects on the attitude shift, is that this panic and this like suffocation in the station.
Yeah.
Of that this marmalade comes in.
Yeah, and everyone smells it walking.
And they're freaking out.
Wafting. It's like,
Yeah.
who's having toast and smarmalade? Oh, snap. Everyone.
Everyone.
Everyone hide your
Aye.
dirty business.
Right.
I just loved that little moment where the lieutenant tries to like shake him off when they pull the car out of the water. He's like, I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
And you like saw like just the tops of his teeth and like a gap in the middle. Just like, Jesus, this guy.
Yeah.
What is his deal? That's what I want to know. What is he into when he's not investigating?
Well, he's
Or what's he there to investigate?
or who
Yeah.
what's he after? What's his angle? Like, you
Yeah.
know he has an
We
angle.
don't know. We know that. Well,
We're gonna
his-
find that out,
yeah.
though. We have to find that out.
Well, his angle supposedly is to bust a dirty cop or
Yeah.
dirty cops.
And
But for what?
For what exactly?
What are we thinking, that maybe he works for a rival gang or for the old man because he knew that Brendan was going to come down on him? Maybe,
Possibly.
potentially.
Predictions.
We know that. Well, it's
Sorry.
you know what? Okay, sometimes
Rein it
predictions
in.
just
You know what?
slip
Rein
out.
it in.
Oriana, okay.
The marmalade's just pulling him out.
This show just breeds questions.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, it's infested with questions.
And because it's the first episode of a new series, I
Absolutely.
think. You know,
yeah, we're nothing but questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll normalize as we
Okay.
move forward.
All right.
Yeah.
But we know that Brendan knew that IA was onto him. The rats are coming for me. Get him off me. Get him off me. They're definitely coming for him. So how did he find out?
And
This-
and Joe knows. Joe knew.
Yeah.
He wanted to have his back.
Yeah.
He obviously had his back by clearing the hard drive because that wasn't something that Brendan can do.
Well, I think that was more so for himself.
You
Yeah.
think so?
Yeah.
That was pure self-interest.
Yeah, I
So-
believe that too.
So the thing about this internal affairs investigation that I'm curious about
Yeah.
is, was Joe the one that was gonna go down
With
Should-
it?
Like,
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
and having I'm just wondering how having Brendan killed benefited Joe.
It kept him out of
clearly-
prison
Well,
for just a little
we
while
also
longer.
know too that Damon
Yeah.
and that crew was waiting for Brandon to do something. They were waiting for him to come. So
They
there's
were-
there's
yeah.
a loose tie-in with the dirtiness of him, but
Well,
we just
let's-
don't know exactly why.
Let's get into that side of the story. So
Yeah.
they were waiting for Brendan to come in. Brendan was going to arrest the coke dealer. He was
Yes.
going to bust in. The
old man.
Yeah, arrest the coke dealer, take the stash, keep a little for himself, and give the rest to Damon.
Now, was he
Yeah.
gonna arrest the dealer that Damon shot?
Yes,
Yes.
that dealer.
That dealer.
Because they were waiting and waiting and waiting, and then he
Right.
didn't show, and
So they
then
were
they
like-
went to take care of it themselves.
And now that the dealer had said, "Do you know who this belongs to?" And that belonged to the old man, right?
Yes.
Okay.
yes,
Who has been harassing Maya, his
Yeah.
Damon's wife.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Just clarifying.
He's definitely sweet on her, and they have been paying him protection.
yeah,
They're under his thumb. So Damon was going to flip on the old man in exchange for dirty favors. So
yeah.
Ooh.
yeah. No,
Not those kind of.
purely
fun.
drug
Sorry.
related.
Okay. Oh, okay.
He is married. Get your head out of the Detroit gutter.
I know.
Oriana.
I mean, we started with prostitutes.
I
and
know. We
Russian
started,
money.
and then there was the murder. He's a murderer.
Yeah.
And a drug dealer.
Casual murderer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, compassionate because he did do the kill shot in the head.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
stop
Oh, yeah,
the
we
drug
were having
dealer
Suffering.
from suffering from his chest wounds.
We were having a discussion earlier. It's just, like he already shot him twice. He could have let him bleed out potentially, but no, he shot him in the head and he ended
Right.
his suffering.
And we didn't see that body move. We didn't see any of that. So could it really be that Brandon was the only cop that knew of that place?
It's Brendan
Brendan McCann.
with an E. I'm sorry.
I like it. I like
That's
it.
right.
I'm okay.
I think it's wholly possible. Well, but that begs an interesting question, right? So
Yeah.
we know that the gun was disposed of, but the body was not
We
necessarily.
don't know.
We don't know what
Unless
happened
he's
to
the
it.
chopped up dude in the trunk, which I think he is.
Okay, we didn't get to see who
Yeah.
it was. And they didn't specify if he was a white male or black male.
They just said
But
male.
it couldn't have been, right? Because wasn't the body...
No,
Sequence
because
actors.
he was shot the day after they put Brendan in the river.
Yeah.
Brendan was put in the river
At night.
in night 1. Day 2 was when Damon
Shot the drug dealer.
shot the drug dealer.
Yeah.
It just seems a little fishy.
Look, this whole town is built on the water, okay? There's plenty of fishy smell.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to the bottom of all of it all season long. Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got this sort of like mystery guy who is a killer. He was in the military. He knows all of Damon's crew, but he doesn't hang out with them. And Maya is curious about this guy.
Right.
And we like linger on him again later in the episode. He's just sitting there tearing up cigarettes, and we're definitely going to see more of him.
Oh,
I
he's
think.
going to be part of the crew.
Well, Steph, what you said, you were like, he says psych disability, and you said new recruit.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, yep,
The
absolutely.
only thing that he said he knew how to do is kill people.
Yep.
New recruit.
He's perfect.
Qualified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they're going to enlist him for a suicide mission of some sort, which he'll succeed at, and then everything's going to be terrible. I don't know how.
Oh, I don't know about a suicide mission right away. He's going to stick around, that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, that's what I'm saying. He won't die, but it'll be like the kind of
If he
thing like
succeeds at a
take
suicide
down-
mission,
He
then he dies.
What? No. that's completely different.
I'm with you.
It's kamikaze. A suicide mission, the term is like a mission that you think you're probably going to die going to do it, but you might live.
No, not so much.
All right.
What do you think, Marissa?
I think there's a possibility that you might survive.
Thank you.
Uh,
It's not set in stone. Kamikaze and a suicide mission are two similar but different things.
Okay.
Ultimately,
Maybe we'll table that for another
Yeah.
day.
we'll table
go
that
back to that one.
discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So we have a lot of questions going forward. We still don't know a ton, but we know that we like the show.
Yeah.
And we love Detroit and the look of the show, and the opening theme song is just
It's awesome.
bonkers awesome.
Yeah.
It's
It's really good.
so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
How cool was it that they waited 25 minutes to have that commercial break?
Yes.
yeah.
They really let us get into the
Yeah,
story,
totally drew
get
us
to know
in.
the characters.
Get sucked right in.
Yeah.
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 That was brilliant.
Yeah.
So I kind of have a question about. I was referring to the Bad Boys Club, like all the bad boys with their leather jackets and their
Sure,
guns.
sure.
You know, they have a couple angles of they're trying to locate McCann because Brendan McCann. They want their drugs, right? And whatever kind of kickbacks they were going to get from him. They're simultaneously wanting to kill the old man, right?
Yeah,
and both of those things are linked. So now I'm just wondering, like, how is this going to implicate them into Frank's life? Because I feel like that is going to happen.
Well, Frank now has to
They need
solve.
a new one. They need a new cop.
They need a new cop.
Right,
They need a new dirty cop, but then also Frank is responsible for solving the murder of the guy who's dismembered in the back seat. So if that's the same gang as if that's the old man's gang, if that's his whole MO,
Right.
Brendan was working for him, and that's why he may have dismembered Katya. That's like their whole thing. So that murder will eventually lead back to this group.
Right.
Now, did you notice that when Damon was looking through the binoculars, he was staring at Frank, and his buddy said, "What?" And he said, "Oh, nothing." And then he looks again, and he says, "Oh, it's McCann."
Yeah.
So, and I kind of thought that was foreshadowing of maybe he's got his eyes on Frank.
Yeah, I agree. Because they're going to see him as the weak link
Well, he's definitely he's a
needs
pretty
to
good
eat
liar.
a sandwich.
Pretty good liar.
He's a pretty good liar so far. He's not comfortable lying, but he's
Right.
good at it.
Right.
Yeah.
I think he needs to eat a sandwich, though. He looks terrible.
He looks very unhealthy. Well, he keeps vomiting.
He needs to eat something and keep it down. He looks awful.
He keeps vomiting. There's no point in having the sandwich. It's just going to come up again. He needs to have, I don't know.
Maybe he's doing drugs. That's why he keeps vomiting.
Maybe.
Maybe he's just psychically tortured.
Yeah.
It's all possible.
I
at
don't
this
know.
point.
We have not seen a psych disability check yet for Frank Agnew.
Yeah.
So
No, we haven't.
We'll find out. I think it's time that we move into proper speculation.
Yes.
Yes.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay. Oriana Leo, hit us with your predictions for this coming season.
Wow. My predictions are, we've already discussed a few of them, but I do think that Danny, the lovely Khalil, the female detective, I think she is on to Joe and into Joe. I'm sorry, not
Into
Joe,
Frank.
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 I think she's onto and into Frank. So she's noticing something about him because she's into him.
Okay.
So there's going to be a development into that. And I agree with Stef Z that if she can help him, she will.
Yeah.
And I really don't know. I know that the chief is putting the investigation in Frank's hands, and the lieutenant, and I think that he's going to go further and deeper into this vigilante of taking it onto his own personal responsibility to seek justice because he doesn't trust the department or anyone around him.
Sure.
And so he's going to probably go on and keep doing bad things.
All right. Steph Z.
I agree with a lot of that. I think that there's definitely going to be a lot of internal conflict with Frank having to do with Joe and what he finds out along the way with Joe. I also think we're going to see an interesting angle because Charles, he specifically said to Frank, screw the blue code of silence. So I feel like that he's opening up a window for something even more, whatever, something's gonna happen there,
Right?
And they're gonna maybe get dirty against Joe, or like there's gonna be.
He's saying, "Do what you have to."
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much do what you have to do.
All the rules are being broken in the first episode.
Yeah.
I know.
So it's a free for all.
Yeah, I was gonna say it leaves it wide open to see. I also think that Army Boy will be recruited.
Yeah.
Very soon, and he'll be killing and happy, and he'll find his peace in that. And I feel like. I don't know. I feel like for some way that the drug lord or whatever we want to call him in the house that Damon broke into, I do feel like he's the one that's in the trunk, and that they were trying to somehow frame Brendan for doing that. That there's some other picture there. I feel like there's something deeper going on with all that.
Okay. I think that that the conflict between Frank and Joe is only going to escalate. Problem being that they're inextricably tied together because of this murder.
Right.
Yeah.
If Frank flips on Joe or tries to take down Joe, Joe will take Frank with him. So no matter how dirty Joe is, Frank is kind of trapped in this situation where he can't really take him down.
They're handcuffed together.
Yeah. Exactly. They're both handcuffed to that wheel. So I think we're going to see a lot more tension on that front. I do think that we're going to see Danny and Frank perhaps kindle a romance. Katya might not even be dead.
Yeah, I thought that ran through my mind too.
Yeah. Katya might not even be dead. We're going to get a lot of backstory, and I believe Simon Boyd is going to be a major thorn in our favorite characters' sides.
Yeah.
And a lot more to see this season. I can't wait to see it.
Me neither.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
gonna be great. Love it.
Oriana Leo, where can the people find you?
At Miss Oriana Leo on Twitter.
Okay.
They can find me on Twitter and Instagram at I am Stef with an FZ.
Okay. And you can find me on Twitter at Matt Lieberman. That's MattLieberman. You can also find me here on AfterBuzz TV on the Breaking Bad After Show and on the Under the Dome After Show. We will be back next week. Thank you
Yes.
for watching or listening.
Sweet.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.